What are control policies? They are configured on vManage, enabled and enforced on vSmart controllers. They do not get forwarded to one-edge routers. Control policies operate on OMP routing information received from or sent to one-edge routers. They can filter OMP updates or modify various attributes. Control policies can be very powerful tool changing routing behavior of the entire SD-WAN fabric. Control policies are used to enable many services, such as service chaining, traffic engineering, extranet VPNs, service and path affinity, arbitrary VPN topologies, and more. So let's create an example control policy which will prioritize data center O1 for the remote site VPN traffic. The problem: prefer main data center O1 over data center O2. If the main data center fails, traffic should reroute to data center O2. What we see from the diagram below is the default SD-WAN behavior, whereby it's a full mesh and no DC has prioritization over the other. The solution is to deploy control policy to influence T-lock priority to prefer DC O1 vSmart for both sites like shown below. So let's have a look at the configuration required to achieve this policy. A control policy can be configured in two different ways. The first method is via the CLI and the second via the feature template. The CLI is much easier and cleaner to do, but you would need to understand the syntax to do so. Later in the video I show the best method, how to get the use from both. So now let's look at how we do the actual configuration. Navigate to the Configuration tab, select Policies. As you can see, currently I have a CLI template created. To create CLI template, navigate to the Custom Options tab on the right-hand side. To create feature template, select Add Policy. Now as you can see on the left-hand side we have our policies options. As we are using T-locks, we need to create a T-lock list. We also need to create a site list which will be used in the policy. Select Site tab. Name your sites. My example, I have chosen branches. Now select the site ID numbers. Site ID numbers are used in the policies as a means of control, so the only device with site ID 2 can only talk to another device with the same ID.
Now we need to create a T-lock list. Select T-lock. Give the T-lock list a name. Now add the T-lock system IP address of the device you wish to have priority, so in our case DC01. As you can see, I use the same address for both T-locks. This is because both transport reside on the same DC device. Now select the color and encryption, leave the preference blank, as this is set later via the policy. Now you can see the T-lock list we just created. Select Next to continue. Now we need to add a topology. Select the Add Topology button. Navigate to Custom Control option. Let's now give the policy a name. I will use Prefer DC01 T-lock, this makes it easier to call on later. Now create a new rule, as this the first rule, it will be classed as Sequence 1. Select the T-lock option. Now select the Add Sequence rule. Navigate to the T-lock option. From the drop-down menu select the T-lock list we created earlier. Select the Action tab, then give this action a preference of 50. Note, preference: if two similar OMP routes exist, the one with higher preference is preferred. Default is 0. Now change the default action to Accept. This action will only accept connections from the site IDs which we listed in the branch list earlier. Now save and continue. Then select Next. We now need to create the actual policy. Give the policy a name. In our case, we will use the preferred DC01 template. I have named this as a template as can be used as the master template for the policy, which can be cloned or used for a CLI template. Now select the Site List tab. Select the sites which this policy is going to be applied to. We created the branch list earlier, so we will select this for outbound direction. What does inbound and outbound mean? The inbound policy controls which routes and route information are installed in the local routing database on the Cisco vSmart controller, and whether this information is installed as is or is modified. Outbound control policy is applied after a route is retrieved from the routing database, but before a Cisco vSmart controller advertises it, and affects whether the route information is advertised as is or is modified. Now we can preview the CLI configuration. Save the policy. Now you can see we have a CLI and feature policy created. To activate the policy, we need to select the three dots on the right-hand side. Select the Activate option. This will then apply the policy to your chosen vSmart controller. Select Activate. Now you can see the policy been pushed to the vSmart controller. Once we have a green tick, the policy should have been applied. You can verify the steps by selecting the drop-down menu. Now let's verify the vSmart has had the policy pushed. Navigate to Devices, then Controllers tab. You can see the vSmart is now showing our template has been pushed. Now let's look at creating a CLI template. I find to do this it's easier to create a feature template and use the CLI configuration, so let's navigate to the Policy tab. Create a CLI policy from the template we just created. Select the three dots, preview the policy configuration, copy this configuration as this is what we will use to create the CLI policy template. Now select Custom Options on the top right-hand corner, select CLI. As you can see, you have to manually enter the CLI syntax. This is why I created the feature template first. It makes life a bit easier. Paste the copied policy configuration in the CLI section and give the policy a name, then save. So now we have created a CLI policy template. Let's attach the policy to the vSmart controller. Now the policy is attached, let's verify the template has been pushed to the vSmart. Go to the Devices, Controllers. As you can see, it now says we have the CLI templates attached. We can select the three dots to verify the running configuration of the vSmart. Thanks for taking your time to watch this short video. Please give us a like, and if you kindly could subscribe to the channel, it would be very appreciated.